Coming to you from sunny downtown Suckville, it is the He Mistook Her for a Swan emergency broadcasting system. Welcome, people. Good to see you. Hey people, it's National Pretzel Day. Yay! What do you think? I can't think of pretzel without thinking of Screamin' Sam, right? Do you remember that thing he used to do when he wrapped his legs up in a particularly intense vocal or bass part? I love that. Everybody loved that. Who doesn't love that? So, let's see, what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Lots of new music coming out. I don't know if you've noticed. New song from the Stones. I mean, actually, it's pretty good. You know, sometimes they coast a bit. Sometimes they really, they just kind of mail it in once in a while. But when they're on, they're fucking on. And yeah, pretty good new song. New song by Ray Wylie Hubbard. Who, you ask, is Ray Wylie Hubbard? Come on. Ray Wylie Hubbard is like he's like the soul, to my mind, of that Texas music scene that started in the 70s and just kept right on going. Heavy shit, sometimes funny. He can be quite funny, but he can be fucking heavy too. And he's got this new song, and guess who's on drums? Ringo Starr. So, Ray Wylie Hubbard. He's made it. It's the fucking big time for him. All right? So good for him. Good for him. Who else? Steve Earle's got some new stuff out. And, you know, there's a guy that you got to respect. He is just, he's got his vision and he's giving it to you from his heart. And, yeah, he's got a heavy new song out. Check it out. Our, not exactly homegrown, but, you know, with Toronto roots, Cameron Public House roots, Whitney Rose has a new song out too. You should check that out. And it's got our buddy Brad Fordham and his wife Lisa on drums, and Gerf Morlex I think is on there too. Brad, Toronto expat, moved down to Austin years ago. Amazing bass player. I played with him in the Handsome Ned's Hayseed Hellions, which was a ton of fun. And we tried to get a band together once. We rehearsed like hell. And then something happened. I think, I don't know what the hell did happen. Maybe Brad joined Rang Tango or something. Or is that when he left town? We'll have to investigate that a little further. Yeah, Rang Tango, right? Which brings us back around to Laurie Yates, who I mentioned the other day, is on Chris Houston's album. So see how all these things fit together. It's like a fine patchwork quilt. Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Okay. Yeah, so let's see. I kind of got a little feedback from my sister-in-law, one of my sister-in-laws, and she's basically saying, what the fuck are you talking about? And, okay, I take that. I take that criticism seriously, and I get it. Because here I am, I'm talking to you people who I kind of assume know who we are and what we do, and maybe you've seen us play. You've been down to the supermarket in the good old days when you could fucking go down to the supermarket and, you know, see He Mistook Her for a Swan, myself and Colleen do our acoustic duo, and sometimes get joined by our friends Greer Coppins or Brian Stiller or, you know. But it's reasonable to think that it is the interweb, right? And who knows who's listening? Maybe you have no fucking idea who I am or what we do. So, hey world. All right, so I'll try to explain. Okay, so Colleen Hodgson and myself, we both played together in one of the premier Toronto roots rock bands, the John Boer Band. And, you know, I've got more history than we'd care to talk about at the moment. That would take a long time. But anyway, you know, I kind of come from punk rock roots and then into, you know, the early roots rock stuff with Handsome Ned. So anyway, so as a younger lad, I was somewhat interested in this band called Pentangle. And, you know, I think I had a record or two, and I thought it was pretty cool stuff. You know, I'm a teenager, right? And, you know, punk rock came along. We put that aside and completely forgot about it. Like, it's back here in this little part of my brain that's not currently in use, okay? So, after Colleen and I found ourselves kind of in between bands. I mean, we both had other projects going on, but I was talking to Greer Coppins, of the famous Greer Coppins of Taxi Chain, and I was saying, you know, I love that Pentangle stuff. I'm gonna figure some of that shit out. And he's going, well, Colleen loves Fairport Convention. Maybe there's some kind of synergy we could, you know, she might like doing that. So we got together, and we formed this acoustic duo. And we had basically as our inspiration, we were looking for dark, sad, and beautiful songs. So if we can at least tick off 2 of those 3 boxes, we're happy. So in our musical journey down this rabbit hole, we discovered some artists that were maybe not so well known to a lot of people, and we wanted to cover them. So for start, Bert Jansch was in that band Pentangle, and you know, I'm looking more into Bert stuff, and holy shit, you know, it's unbelievable what the guy has done. He's the greatest guitar player in the world, as we've discussed on a previous show. There's some other people we discovered, you know, Jackson C. Frank, who we also mentioned. So, for those of you who know who are going, what the fuck are you're talking Chinese? What do you mean, Jackson C. Frank? So we discovered, like, it's like we discovered America, right? You know, we planted our flag there. Jackson C. Frank, we're the only people who ever heard of him, and everybody else is standing around, you know, all the natives going, who are you? But okay, so be that as it may, Jackson C. Frank, one of those, made one record. He was an American who went to England in the early 60s. He made one record in 1965. And he was well respected in the English folk scene at the time. He played around. People liked him. He was going out with Sandy Denny. He talked Sandy Denny into quitting her job and becoming a full-time musician. And we owe him a debt of gratitude just for that, even if he had never done anything else, right? So he made this record, and it's got 10 songs on it. They went into the studio, some studio. Paul Simon produced it. One session. I've heard in one spot they said it was a 3-hour session. Somebody else said it was a 6-hour session. Whatever. One session, and he finished the album. Nobody does that anymore, right? That's crazy. So these 10 songs, and they were oh yeah, we had Al fucking Stewart did guitar on one track. Okay, remember Al from Al Year of the Cat fucking Stewart. So they're all these cats, and they put out this one record, and really, you know, it didn't get a lot of distribution. It's a great forgotten treasure. So we found this treasure. When people find treasure, there's 2 schools of thought. There's hoard or share. So what are you gonna do? Who are you? Are you Bernie or Trump? Are you me or we? We share. Maybe we overshare. So in He Mistook Her for a Swan, we do 3 covers from that Jackson C. Frank album. we are not the only ones who have done covers of Jackson C. Frank. He is very coverable. So if you look down the list, those 10 songs, Blues Run the Game. I think it was done by the Counting Crows. I think I wrote this down. Counting Crows, Nick Drake. Nick Drake loved Jackson. Bert Jansch. Bert loved him as well. I think they were good friends. Simon and Garfunkel. They did it. Laura Marling. Yeah, Laura's got some new stuff out. I think it's pretty good, actually. She's done some pretty interesting stuff lately. You might want to check it out. Check out her new album. Another song, Kimby, which we do, also done by Nick Drake, also done by Marianne Faithfull. So you see where I'm going with this. I could go on and on. Nick Drake did a whole bunch of covers. Milk and Honey, When We Do, also done by Bonnie Dobson. Do you know who Bonnie Dobson is? Bonnie Dobson, lovely young Canadian girl, wrote the song, Walk Me Out in the Morning Rain. In the Morning Dew, yeah. Which was confiscated by some New York guy, Tim Rose, right? Said he wrote it. He didn't write it. She wrote it. Yeah, and she actually Bonnie also did. She did another Jackson C. Frank. Yeah, the song Carnival. Okay, last time I was on an airplane, God only knows when I'm ever going to be on an airplane again. I watched the movie The Joker, and I hear this little clip of music, and I know what it is. It's fucking Jackson C. Frank Carnival, and the main character, Phoenix in the Joker, actually talks about the song. He says, "Oh yeah, this song's called Carnival, it's bizarre because that's my clown name." Weird, eh? So we start talking about Jackson C. Frank. Suddenly he's in a frickin' Hollywood movie. Mission accomplished. Okay, now you know about him. So it's one of those, one of those little treasures that we found. So I think it's a great album, and it's an interesting story. What do you like about music, right? What is it about music that, turns us on? For me, it's like air, it's like food. If my music sucks, I'm going to start starving to death and I'm going to get cranky. That's what happened back in the punk rock days. I felt like I was starving to death because the music had no nutrition, no nutritional value. Look on the back of the package. There's nothing in there. Sucked. It didn't all suck. There was some great stuff being made, but you had to go find it. You had to go down that rabbit hole and find it. And that's what we love about. So it's a bit of there's a bit of a music nerd factor there too. Oh, I found this great artist that nobody's ever heard of. But on the other hand, really, you gotta, like I say, it's nutrition. It's like what they say, about beer in Germany. It's food, right? Beer, music, food. These are essential things to life. All right? So, I'm working on something with Greer and Colleen. Maybe next week we'll have another little duo trio thingamajigger going on for you. We're working on the technology. I mean, face it, we don't know what we're doing. We're just making this shit up as we go along. Anyway, I hope everybody's good. Is everybody still out of jail? Is there anybody wearing an ankle bracelet or anything like that? I hope not. I hope you're staying sane. I'm all jacked up on coffee all the time. I gotta answer my pants. I mean, what the hell? I want to run around and do stuff, and I want to go out and play something, some angry music. Angry music. We're going to get the Screamin' Sam album put up on streaming sites. We're going to do it. So you can hear it if you don't happen to own a copy of the CD, which would be the only way you could ever hear it, basically. All right, so I'm gonna leave you with a blues song, and I'm just gonna segue off into that. You know, you're gonna see how this works. I'm Marty Scorsese here, right? Not really. Okay, so you guys take care. I'm gonna leave you with some blues. Hey, people. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We are gonna wrap it up, and one of our friends, our friend Robin in California, mentioned to me a little while ago that she was busy compiling plague lists. It's kind of funny, actually. You know, what are the great plague songs, right? And you know, there's some obvious ones. You know, REM, End of the World as We Know It, blah blah blah. But you know, one thing about the folk scene in New York City that distinguished it a little bit from the English folk scene is that they had direct access to the original blues guys. So that all skipped a generation or two. And in the 60s, some of those blues guys were rediscovered, so to speak. Not that they went anywhere, you know, they were still there. But, you know, these clean-faced young New York dudes sought them out and brought them back, dusted them off, brought them onto the stage. So there was a guy, you know, Son House was there, Mississippi John Hurt, you know, who actually had a big influence on me as a young teenager, you know, listening to those songs for the first time. A lot of people had that famous double live album. And one of the guys that kind of came back around was Skip James. And for my money, he was the best guitar player of that original blues era. The most interesting, the most thoughtful guitar player. I mean, I love them all, right? But Skip James, you know, he's up here for me. And he wrote what I'm going to leave you with, I think a great plague list song, okay? It's called Hard Times Killin' Floor Blues. And it's in this weird-ass tuning, so we'll see if I can pull it off, okay? I'm going to leave you guys with this. All right, here we go. Times are here and everywhere I go. I ain't never seen hard times like this before. People are drifting from door to door. Can't find no heaven. I don't care where they go. If I ever get up off of this old killing floor, I ain't never gonna let myself get down this road no more. You say you got money, you better be sure. Just hard times will kill you, drag you down low. Hard times are here and everywhere I go. I ain't never seen hard times like this before.
times killing floor.